Imagine being told that the chains of your ancestors were not symbols of oppression but opportunity, that the whips and the shackles were not instruments of torture but of personal benefit. This is not a dystopian novel. These are the brand new educational standards in Florida today. Welcome to the conversation. Before we dive in, don't forget to like and share this message. Also consider subscribing if you want to see some more. History is the foundation upon which we stand, the canvas of our present painted with the colors of our past. But what happens when the canvas is smeared with inaccuracies, when the truth of the past is blurred and contorted? Today we delve into a new controversy brewing in Florida's educational system, a controversy of history itself. In a unanimous move, the State Board of Education in Florida has introduced new teaching standards which suggest that enslaved Black Americans reap personal benefits from slavery based on the skills that they developed. This reframing is more than just a troubling misinterpretation of history. It's a blatant act of whitewashing one of the most grotesque chapters of American history in an attempt to paint slavery as a learning opportunity rather than an institution of brutal subjugation. The new standards insinuate that the enslaved benefited from the skills that they acquired. But how can we talk about benefits when these individuals and their children were property? Their labor and skill were exploited for the profit of others, and their freedom was ruthlessly snuffed out. Adding insult to injury, the standards present a false equivalence between the violence perpetrated against and by Black Americans. Let's be clear, violence in the form of lynchings, massacres, and brutality targeted at Black Americans during the Jim Crow era were acts of systemic institutional oppression. Media from this era was steeped in bias that Black Americans were villainized while their attackers were often portrayed as heroes. Even Black media, which sought to challenge these narratives, were attacked and silenced, as was the case in Wilmington, North Carolina. The sorry thing is that we've seen this before. During the Jim Crow era, Confederate sympathizers wove lost cause narratives into public education, narratives that glorified the Confederacy and justified slavery. Reviving these narratives into today's education isn't just historically inaccurate, it's a deliberate attempt to undermine lived experience of enslaved people and their descendants. To suggest that Black Americans benefited from the very institution that oppressed them isn't just historically false, but grotesquely an insult. Slavery wasn't some workshop program for skill development. It was a systemic process of dehumanization, exploitation, and abuse. It was a struggle for survival, not a tale of benefits reaped. And these new standards imply an equivalence between racial violence, a skewed perspective that not only glosses over systemic issues, but also falsely criminalizes Black Americans as a whole. We've been fighting against this lost cause narrative for over 100 years. Look, history is a testament of our shared human experience. It's a mirror that reflects both our triumphs and our failures. Let's resist the urge to crack the mirror because we don't like what we see. Let's honor the memories of those who suffered by remembering their stories as they truly were. Let's learn from our mistakes, build a bright future, and not turn backwards.